There are plenty of gaps and assumptions in our history books. Historians have done the best they can with the knowledge available, and archaeologists support them by providing as much detail as possible from the artifacts they uncover. The issue with that setup is that archaeologists themselves are sometimes puzzled by the objects they dig up, as we're about to witness with the amazing and mysterious discoveries featured in this video. Let's start off with number 15, Drombeag Stone Circle. Ireland's past stretches far deeper than most assume, and one of the clearest reminders of that depth is the Drombeag Stone Circle in County Cork, often called the Druid's Altar. It's widely considered Ireland's counterpart to Stonehenge. Today, 13 large stones remain standing, though evidence shows there were once 17. Pinpointing the age of stone monuments is notoriously tough, but radiocarbon testing on human remains found nearby proves it was active at least 3,100 years ago. Like many ancient circles, this one is precisely aligned with solar movement, in this case marking the winter solstice. Scattered around the circle are remnants of early human life, including traces of what look like dwellings and a cooking area. Despite how much has been uncovered, the site's original purpose still slips through our fingers. Was it a seasonal calendar, a ceremonial gathering point, both? Or maybe something entirely beyond our current understanding? The questions remain just as silent and immovable as the stones themselves. Number 14. The Novalara Stele. About 2,600 years ago, a slab now known as the Stele de Novalara was carved and placed near the coastal region of Novalara. What's etched into it remains one of archaeology's biggest headaches. The script is written in North Piscine, a variant of the Etruscan alphabet, but the language itself is completely unknown. We can identify each letter, but the words make no sense to scholars. On the back of the stone is a hunting scene, but there's no certainty that the imagery connects to the text. That's part of what makes this stele so frustrating. We don't know who carved it, why it was made, or even what culture it truly belongs to. Some argue it might stem from a forgotten branch of the Etruscan civilization. Others suspect it reflects an entirely separate culture altogether. In the 130 years since its find, countless linguists and historians have tried to decode it. None have cracked it. For now, it remains unreadable and nameless. Number 13, Proto-Elamite Tablets. The Proto-Elamite script, carved into 5,000-year-old clay tablets found in Iran, remains completely unreadable. Over 1,600 examples have been recovered, many of them beautifully crafted, so much so that several are housed in the Louvre in Paris purely for their design, but their message, still unknown. The name Proto-Elamite comes from the region of Elam where they were found, but that's where the clarity ends. Around 500 years later, another language called Elamite appeared in the same area, yet the two scripts barely share any traits. That gap leaves a complete void in understanding. Even stranger, Proto-Elamite only seems to have existed for about 300 years before vanishing entirely. The script is linear, making it stand apart from the wedge-shaped cuneiform writing of Mesopotamia, but even that hasn't helped in cracking it. Scholars know what it looks like, they just don't know what it says. The writing remains silent, its meaning long buried with the people who once understood and spoke it. Number 12. Greek crossword graffiti. Millions love crossword puzzles, but few realize they've existed far longer than expected. One such puzzle exists in the ruins of ancient Smyrna, now part of Izmir, Turkey. Found etched into the wall of a 2,500-year-old basilica, this early version of a crossword likely appeared around 500 years after the structure was built. Written in Greek, the words can be read both horizontally and vertically. Technically, it qualifies more as an acrostic, but the function is nearly identical. The puzzle mixes personal names with seemingly unrelated Greek words, making it hard to fully interpret. Some researchers believe it served as a discreet communication tool for early Christians. During that time, stalls would have covered this section of the wall, keeping the words hidden from plain view. Others argue it might have been created simply for amusement, much like today's puzzles. Whatever its purpose, it's clear this wasn't random graffiti. It was intentional, crafted with care and preserved by time, evidence that even in ancient cities, people played with language. Number 11, Rosalila Temple. Even before the Spanish tore their civilization apart, the Maya had a habit of burying their own monumental buildings once they were no longer useful. That makes the Rosalila Temple at Copan Ruinas a fascinating exception. Instead of being burned or dismantled, it was carefully entombed. When archaeologists uncovered it, the temple was in such pristine shape that the vibrant red stucco artwork was still bright and intact. Every room had been deliberately packed with stone and mud. The walls were coated in white plaster to protect the art beneath, almost as if they planned to return someday. Based on its size and layout, historians believe Rosalila was Copan's most important religious center in the 6th century. Why it was buried remains unclear, but the extraordinary condition in which it was found has given experts a rare glimpse into the ceremonial life of the Maya. It's proof that sometimes preservation was part of their ritual, not destruction. Number 10. The sunken Basilica of Iznik. When drought conditions dropped water levels in Turkey's Iznik district, something unexpected emerged. The remains of a 1500-year-old basilica beneath the lake's surface. Surprisingly, the structure went unnoticed until aerial drone photos caught its outline. Experts believe the basilica slipped beneath the water after an earthquake struck the region in the year 740. Iznik was a spiritual center for both the Roman and Byzantine empires, so debate still lingers over who originally built it. Most agree, however, that this was one of the region's earliest Christian buildings. Its size and layout share features with the nearby Hagia Sophia of Iznik, which was built in the 5th century, offering a strong hint about the basilica's age. What's truly puzzling is the discovery of seals linked to Scottish knights among the ruins. How those artifacts ended up there is anyone's guess. Whether through pilgrimage, war, or accident, their presence adds another layer to an already fascinating historical site that had been hidden in plain sight. Number 9. Etruscan Hypogeum. In 2022, archaeologists found a decorated Etruscan burial chamber in Elysia-la-Mar, France. Known as a hypogeum, this underground tomb was carved directly into bedrock and sealed with layers of charcoal, stones, and clay. Inside, they found several burial types, funerary pits, wooden coffins, and stone sarcophagi. Each individual was interred with items of beauty, rings, pendants, polished vases, and finely crafted goblets coated in black varnish. The stylistic details suggest the site is around 2,400 years old, though precise dating will depend on testing the human remains. Regardless of the final age, the sophistication of the grave goods stands out. This wasn't a hurried or modest burial, it was a carefully planned resting place for people of considerable status. The presence of multiple burial types also hints at evolving traditions, or perhaps overlapping generations within the same family. It's a rare window into the artistry and customs of a culture we still know too little about. What we do know, they were no amateurs. Number 8. Puars II. Our ancient ancestors had an enduring obsession with red ochre, and no one really knows why. But the discovery of Puars II in Wyoming, dating back 13,000 years, brings us closer to understanding. Confirmed as the oldest mine of any kind in the Americas, Puars II was carved into stone using tools made from antlers. The work was brutal and exhausting, yet the people kept returning. Red ochre wasn't just decoration, it was sacred. Paleo-Indian groups used it for rituals, burials, campsite markings, and even hunting kill sites. Some archaeologists believe it might have doubled as sunscreen or insect repellent, though its main purpose seems deeply symbolic. The ochre from Puars II has turned up all across the Rocky Mountains and Great Plains, proving its cultural importance. Its distribution reveals a network of movement, trade, or shared ritual beliefs. Every piece of antler tool recovered from the site shows just how far people were willing to go to get their hands on this vivid, iron-rich pigment. But the truth only God knows. Number 7. Shimao. In 2018, Archaeologists unearthed an ancient city near the Tuwei River in China that dates back 4,300 years. Known as Shimao, the site quickly gained attention for its stepped pyramid, once rising 250 feet high and flanked by massive defensive walls. The structure was impressive, but the horror lay in the ground around it. Excavations revealed multiple pits filled with hundreds of human skulls with no full skeletons nearby. That detail suggests ritual sacrifice rather than warfare. Some believe these skulls belong to captives or offerings tied to ceremonies held in the central plaza leading to the pyramid's palace. The site challenges long-held views about early Chinese civilization, which traditionally focused on the Central Plains. Shimao's scale, planning, and apparent religious significance imply it was far more advanced than expected for its time. While the city only lasted around 500 years, its eerie remains, especially the skull-lined earth, paint a picture of a society that fused innovation with ritual intensity and brutal symbolism. Number 6. Arthur Sett's Seat. In September 2020, archaeologists made a breakthrough on top of Arthur's Seat, the extinct volcano towering over Edinburgh, Scotland. The spot may seem rugged now, but 3,000 years ago, during the Iron Age, it was home to a thriving hill fort built by the Votadini tribe. Dragging excavation gear up the 850-foot slope wasn't easy, but what they uncovered was worth every step. The fort's thick stone walls, up to 18 feet thick in some areas, and the sharp cliffs around them made it an ideal stronghold. From up there, the Votadini had a panoramic view of southeastern Scotland, a territory they once controlled. Little is known about how they lived, but archaeologists hope this dig will change that. Traces of domestic structures, tools, and even food remains could help fill in the blanks about their culture. The site offers a rare glimpse into a tribe that left behind very few records, but whose presence shaped a big part of Scotland's early history. Number 5. Ancient Thracian Brick Tomb. In 2018, archaeologists uncovered a remarkably well-preserved Thracian tomb near the village of Rushovo in southern Bulgaria. Though small in size, the structure is a textbook example of a tholos, or beehive-style tomb, dating to the Hellenistic era around 2,300 years ago. Only 2 miles from the UNESCO-listed Kazanlak tomb, which predates it by roughly a century, the Rushovo site is one of only 2 intact Thracian tholo ever found in the country. The tomb's dome remained uncollapsed despite ancient looters breaking in, likely in search of valuables buried with the deceased. Thick brush and rural isolation kept it hidden for millennia. Though heavily rated in antiquity, the tomb's construction remains intact, offering critical architectural data on Thracian burial practices. The area is known for its dense concentration of Thracian mounds, and some Bulgarian historians estimate that hundreds of burial sites in the region remain unexplored. Rushovo's Tholos is a quiet survivor of a civilization still largely veiled in mystery. Number 4. Daffy Seats Elixir. During a dig in Hackleton, Northamptonshire, archaeologists found a broken glass bottle dating back to 1731. It bore the label True Daffy's Elixir, Dacey and Company, 10 Bow Churchyard, London. Though shattered into 3 pieces, traces of the liquid inside still clung to the glass, giving off a sticky, fruity, resinous smell. Daffy's Elixir was one of the 17th century's most popular cure-alls. People believed it could treat everything from kidney stones and toothaches to gout, colic, and more. It stayed on sale well into the 20th century. The exact formula was never made public, but like many old remedies, it was probably heavy on alcohol. Pain relief likely came less from its medicinal value and more from intoxication. Still, bottles like this one offer a glimpse into the era's health beliefs and desperation. It's both a medical relic and a social one, a reminder that long before prescription drugs, people still clung to whatever they could drink to numb the pain. Number 3. Indus Valley Script. Roughly 4,500 years ago, the Indus Valley civilization spread across what's now India and Pakistan. Over 2,000 sites have been found, but one mystery still refuses to budge: the Indus script. It's carved into seals, etched on pottery, scratched onto tools, symbols repeating just often enough to hint at meaning, yet not enough for any definite pattern to emerge. More than 6,000 examples have surfaced, and experts still can't say if it's a full writing system, a symbolic code, or something in between. Some believe the symbols were simple item labels, others think they hold entire records, maybe stories that we just can't crack. The glyphs often show up alongside animals or figures, perhaps as part of a larger message. Despite all the fragments, no one's found a Rosetta Stone for this puzzle. Until that happens, or unless we invent a new way to interpret ancient signs, we're left with one of history's oldest unsolved linguistic dead ends. Number dos. Oracle bones. China's earliest written language wasn't scribbled on scrolls, it was carved into bones. Around 3,000 years ago, during the Shang dynasty, diviners inscribed messages onto ox shoulder blades and turtle shells, asking questions about weather, war, and royal fate. These so-called oracle bones were then heated until they cracked, with the fracture patterns interpreted as divine answers. Around 5,000 unique characters have been found, yet less than half have been translated. The rest remain untouched, unread, and unresolved. In 2017, China's National Museum of Chinese Writing even offered a reward of $155,000 for anyone able to translate just one new character. That's how tough this puzzle is. Hundreds of bones have been found, but the mystery only deepens with each discovery. Some markings might be names, others could hold lost records on governance, taxation, or even royal gossip. But without full translation, we're left piecing together China's oldest messages with half the alphabet missing and no key in sight. Number 9. Jerusalem SIP's Broad Wall. The Broad Wall of Jerusalem is a massive defensive structure attributed to King Hezekiah during the late 8th century BCE. Unearthed by Israeli archaeologist Naaman Avigad in the 1970s, the wall stretches over 200 feet long and is an incredible 21 feet thick, a testament to its defensive purpose. At certain points, it rises to nearly 10 feet in height. Before its discovery, scholars believed Jerusalem during Hezekiah's reign was limited to the city of David, south of the Temple Mount, but the Broad Wall proved the city had expanded westward by this time. This growth likely responded to the threat posed by Assyrian king Sennacherib's campaign through Judah. The wall is mentioned in both Isaiah 22 and Nehemiah 3, reinforcing its historical relevance. The structure's sheer size and strategic design reflect the city's urgent need for protection. Even today, parts of the wall still stand inside Jerusalem's old city, but sadly the complete story of this wall is still missing. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.